Hey guys, this is Beth McKenna, the newest MILF in porn, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. I can't believe Tommy's wanking. Now that's customer service.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now I am so fucking excited for today's show because I've been trying to get in touch with this woman since the very beginning, and I finally have. I will be interviewing Marianne Walter, aka Kelly Nichols, or Kelly Nichols, aka Marianne Walter, however you want to take it. As Marianne Walter, you all know her as Deanne, the girl in the bathtub in the 1978 blood-curdling classic, The Toolbox Murders. But she's also a porn legend. She was in so many porn movies back in the day under the name Kelly Nichols, and I'm having her on the show today to talk about all of that stuff. She was also in a couple of other low-budget cult movies, most notably my personal favorite, The Delivery Boys. 35th anniversary, she'll be my fourth guest from that movie. And she also doubled for Jessica Lange in the 1976 remake of King Kong. Gotta ask her about that. IMDb says allegedly she was in Judd, and she also did Snowline, aka Texas Godfather. And I can't wait to talk to her about all that stuff. So yeah, here is my interview with Kelly Nichols, aka Marianne Walter. Hey Kelly, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I am great today. I'm having a good day. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's a little forecast over here in Redding, California, but it happens in June sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Redding before, yeah.
Not a good town.
It's a small town.
It is a very small town. But this is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, absolutely, sure. Yeah, I got your message late because I don't always text my messenger. You know, I just kind of fail at the whole Facebook thing. But when I saw it, I got excited, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I was so excited. I've been trying to find you since I started this podcast 3 years ago.
Oh, my God, you're kidding.
Yeah, I didn't know where to look, but I heard your interview on the Rialto Report 6 months ago, and then that made me want to look for you again.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a lot of feedback from that report. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, it was a pretty good interview. But let's start this one.
All right.
So, going back in time, yeah, I listened to that interview twice, and I remember you saying you grew up in a very disciplinary household where you were the oldest of five, and you attended Catholic school. But early on, did you have an inclination toward performing or acting?
Oh no, I went to Catholic school for like 9 years. It was all about school and taking care of my brothers. I think when I got into high school, I kind of got a little bit of an acting bug, but it was like kind of a stage acting bug. You know, I like to be on stage. I like to be center of attention.
Right.
I like to come up with funny things. If anything, I was kind of a comedic actress at heart. But that's the only inclination that I wanted to grease paint.
Yeah. Wow, I went for 8 years to Catholic school.
Oh, you poor baby. Okay, was it all boys?
It was boys and girls.
Oh, okay. My last year was just girls. It was really weird.
Really?
Yeah, and then we would have dances with the boys' school, so we wouldn't really see the boys except to have these long, protracted, awkward dances with them, like they were something from another planet or something.
Yeah, I'm a very naughty boy as much as I am a gentleman, and my parents brought me up to respect women, open doors for them, compliment them, but when the right one comes along and she's willing, fuck her brains out.
And isn't that what we all really want?
Exactly. Yeah, people just don't get it. And were you a tomboy growing up too?
Oh yeah, 5 brothers, absolutely. My mom says I'm one of the most feminine people she knows, and I'm like, look at her, she's cross-eyed because I don't see it. I mean, I got really good at putting makeup on because I felt kind of like an ugly duckling, so I had to cover it up. But pretty much tomboy was my jam. The only way to have playmates was to play with my brother's friends. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Not like in a dykey kind of way.
No.
Just like, kind of take it over and wear pants, just not playing the girl card.
Yeah, I grew up hanging out with nothing but tomboys, and...
Oh, then you know.
Yeah, and, people always ask me, why do you tell girls dirty jokes on your podcast and talk all sexual and stuff? I was like, because that's what I was around growing up, all the girls talk that way and stuff,
Yeah.
And it's not...
Yeah, with the guys.
Yeah, and it's not like I talk to all of them that way, just the ones that I ask permission for beforehand and are allowing me to,
Yes, we don't have to be handled like delicate flowers, all of us, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many free spirits, especially in show business, that you run into, and they don't mind that stuff.
Sure. Or they came from New York, and they don't mind that stuff.
Well, that too, yeah.
I was like, my language got so bad after I lived in New York. Everything was, what the fuck? What's this? What's that?
Yeah.
It was just like, and that was because everybody spoke that way in New York, and I had to really try and clean up my language before I had kids. Which wasn't that successful.
Yeah, have you succeeded?
Yeah, I just told them, okay, you can cuss at home, but you can't cuss at school because that's going to get us both in trouble, and you'll never have to cuss. You can never cuss again. So if you want to cuss again, do it just at home. And that kind of satisfied them.
That sounds like a good idea. You're born and raised in San Gabriel?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a little suburb off to the side of Hollywood and Los Angeles. Very small. A lot of people in my high school came back and worked and lived there, after they graduated or graduated from junior college. They were satisfied living there, and I always knew I needed to get out of there. So I left, and I never looked back. I left when I was about 18.
Mm-hmm. Did you spend a lot of time going down to Hollywood and seeing stars walking around?
Oh, no. No. There's something about maybe living in Southern California that just, it's a touristy thing to do.
Yeah.
You got to play it cool. And Hollywood was interesting, but it was also this was in the 70s, and it was kind of dirty back then. It wasn't all cleaned up or anything. So I found it interesting, but not necessarily a place I want to hang out. Just getting out into the city down by the beaches and, hanging out with communities down there, that was kind of invigorating, just meeting different people. Just getting away from a small town and seeing what's out there. Not that, just visiting little communities outside the community is actually opening you up completely, but it's definitely adding to your bank of information.
Yeah, I the first time I went to Hollywood was in 1990 when I was 6.5, and it was clean by then, but it still had that old time Hollywood feel to it. And now when I go down there, it's just not the same anymore.
Right. Well, every decade has its own kind of look, whether it's Hollywood or New York. It was a certain look for a period of time, and then it shifts and changes. The people buy up the property, they clean it up. More tourists, whatever. Always the influx of more people is going to change the landscape faster than anything.
Yeah, it's always fluctuating, as they say.
Right.
So after high school, you went to the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena?
Yeah, I did that for a year and a half. But I didn't know what else to do, and I had a partial scholarship, so I did that. But it wasn't, commercial art wasn't exactly where I wanted to go, and I was pretty good as an artist, but just you had to work by yourself a lot, and that was not working into my well of I want to expand my repertoire of people I know and stuff. So, yeah. I was really antsy. I wanted to do something, and I wanted to make something. I wanted to travel, and I just kind of wasn't afraid, but I knew I just didn't want to do, because I lived such an ordinary life in the suburbs. I just didn't want to do what everybody else did, and I think that was the driving motivation.
Yeah. And were you flirting with the idea of possibly the fashion industry at that point?
No, not so much. No, not that. I'm neither a model nor a fashion designer, so the fashion just had everything to do with it. It was pretty rudimentary. It's not the huge mecca that it is now. It was just like in its early infancy.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So, how does the remake of King Kong come into the picture?
Oh, well, just to backlog a little bit, I saw an ad in the back of the Free Press that you could make money from nude modeling, so I got hooked up with a couple agencies to do nude modeling because I saw nothing wrong with that. And one of the agencies was CHN, and nothing to do with the TV program, but this gentleman, Hal Gasu, handled not just nude modeling, but Hollywood extras and small reading parts. Demi Moore was one of his clients early on. And he got a call that they needed a double for Jessica Lange, and I was her size. And at first they just wanted me to do stunt work for her because she was in New York, and they wanted to work on the hands, and because the hands are both mechanical, and they wanted to like rope around and throw her up in the air and pull down her top and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then she was in New York too long, so they used me as to fall off a cliff, which they had built into this giant massive studio, these like kind of cliffs and stuff. And it was really fun. The hands went down; they weren't working for a while, so I got to wander around the studio. They had made Logan's Run in New York, and it was just a real trip. It was that was the kind of experience I wanted. Something like walking around, nobody like looking over my shoulder, just walking around a massive working studio. How cool.
Yeah, I mean, that just must be exciting to be on the set of a major Hollywood movie, especially since it's a Dino De Laurentiis
and
production.
You're not being hemmed in by someone saying, don't go there, or there's a tour through here, and this is only what you're allowed to see. I got to see everything. I just went into every crowd, and there were shows going on. I'd sit in the side and watch, and it was a blast.
Yeah, wow. Did you get to interact with Jessica Lange?
No, because she was always, I was her son, so I was there because she wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So she was in New York doing the part where the monkey falls from the building, and then all the acting in New York she had to do for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, to me, she's one of the greats. I love her acting.
Oh, my gosh, she is one of the greats. I just saw her in a movie. I don't know if you know Shakespearean Titus Andronicus, but it's a bloody tale about Rome. And there's a film called Titus that has Anthony Hopkins, and she's in it, Jessica Lange. I just watched it. She is so amazing to watch. Whether it's that or her portrayal of Frances Farmer or whatever. She's just good.
I love Frances. I watch that movie at least once a month. I love that movie.
Oh, it makes me cry.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I've reached out to Frances Farmer's nephew, who's an actor, and I haven't heard back from him yet. But I'm a big fan of her from that movie. Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing. And she started out she was a fashion model before she got picked up by De Laurentiis to do the King Kong thing.
Wow.
So she didn't really, she had no inkling she was going to become an actress.
Wow, I didn't know that. Some people just, they get lucky because they're born lucky,
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. So then from there, that's where the Toolbox Murders comes in?
Yeah, it was out of that same Hal Gasu. My manager got a call where what happened was they were taking girls out of the studio because they needed, little girls to die. They had Cameron Mitchell and he was going around with his toolbox, and he was killing girls in the film. That's basically it. It was based loosely on a real story. And they got 2 girls out of the agency, and they were like really bad actresses, and they died badly. So they were willing to try a 3rd actress, which is me, and they liked how I looked, so they did some stuff. They had me stand in a window, and they were going to have to do a tuck scene and just kind of get the most for their money out of the scene. And I guess I was real enough to where they decided they were going to try and get me to act, because there's one scene where I'm in the bathtub, and then I run out of the bathtub and start running around screaming and telling them to put the gun down. And this is a SAG film, and you don't get to talk in a SAG film unless they Taft-Hartley you in, and they have to really want you to Taft-Hartley you in. But I guess I gave them good fight. And the rest is history. Yeah, it just turned into a real scene in the, in the movie, and which is it was so cool. The guy that saw me editing it was also the music writer for it, and wrote "Pretty Lady," the song that happens while I'm taking a bath.
Yeah.
And this other guy over here liked how I looked, was looking on the poster, and it was just like, geez, it was just one scene, guys. But glad you liked it.
Yeah, I mean, us guys, we love it, I mean, you got to be naked and masturbate in the bathtub.
And then get murdered. How was the trifecta?
Yeah. Were you a horror fan?
I was a horror fan. I turned into a bigger horror fan later on when I met the father of my children, because he is a horror writer. Mm-hmm. And he wrote some stuff for Hollywood, and we really got heavy into the horror. But at that time, before I met him, I liked horror. I liked horror just fine. I kind of liked the cheesy horror, the drive-in horror with all the blood and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's my forte, I mean, when I first started this podcast, it was horror and sci-fi only, and then I decided to not limit myself and just have everything, but I love horror, that and comedy are my 2 favorite genres.
And sometimes they mingle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right. No, I was thinking more like Alien, because it's horror and it's sci-fi.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about the horror and the comedy, though. That's what I mean.
Oh, the horror and the comedy. Yes, absolutely. Rocky Horror Picture is awesome. Mm-hmm.
There's a story on IMDb that you took your brothers to see the movie.
Oh, yeah. And what was even cookier was, it was a theater I had worked at when I was 16, and it was like one of those old theaters where they had the cool outside marquee that was really old-fashioned, and they were playing like some retro films there, and one of them was Toolbox Murders, so I went with my brothers. I didn't give them any warning, too. That was the best part, because you can. She laughed evilly. They were like totally taken by surprise, and it was just like totally in their face, and they loved it, but the shock value alone was pretty great.
Oh, I love that Schadenfreude. It's such a turn on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I talked to Wesley Ure last year. He went from running from dinosaurs on Land of the Lost to running from a killer in this movie.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was a big transformation, yeah.
Transformation, right. Kovac, right.
And Pamela Ferdin, I'm trying to get her on the show. She's 64. She still talks like an 8-year-old.
Oh, I know. I've been to about 4 different Q&As where they show at the Beverly Cinema.
Yeah.
And it just goes call us out of the mothballs just every now and then, because people really like that film. And Pamela will come, and I mean, there'll be like 3 or 4 people there, and we do the question and answer, and then people watch it and then come up to us afterwards. And yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she did all those voiceovers for Charlie Brown and Charlotte's Web and Cat in the Hat.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
her voice has become so iconic,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said once her book is finished, then maybe I'll get to interview her, though. But I did drop a hint to her that I was going to be interviewing one of her co-stars, another co-star from Toolbox Murders, and she said, "Who, Wes again? Because everyone's dead."
No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Did you go to the...
Well, if you should talk to her again, say hi for me.
I will. Did you go to the rap party?
Did I go to the rap party? I don't remember. I did have. It was one of those things. I was kind of busy then because I was also doing makeup. At the same time, I was shooting, doing nude stuff and magazine stuff and movie stuff. I kept really busy, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So there's a good chance I made it there, but I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. How about a cast screening?
Did we go to a cast screening? I don't know if they had a cast screening. Again, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That sort of eludes me, and I would think I would have gone, but I can't say with 100% that I did.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by the rap party and the cast screening, because, it's such a cult film, and you want to know stuff that happened behind the scenes like that.
Well, it's the last time you get to be intimate with these people that you were intimate for months with,
Right.
And you'll probably never see each other again, or at least limited. So it is kind of a closing. It's closing. It's a good closing.
Yeah, and back then, no one ever thought you'd see them again 30 or 40 years at a screening.
Oh, absolutely not. You never know. People say I knew I was making a big, transformational film, and it's just I highly doubt it. Usually when we're doing our work, we're so close to it that we just perceive it as, okay, I'm done with this, move on to the next project. It was a good project, but you don't perceive it as something that's going to stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the remake?
Oh, God. You know what? I wish they hadn't called it Toolbox Murders, because I think it would have maybe stood its ground a little bit better if they didn't put a title on it that had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad, I think.
It's bad because if you do remember the old movie and you do remember that it was a true story, then it's just it has nothing to do with it. It's just a title, and I think that's where they made a mistake.
Yeah, I think so too. So after that, was that when you were in Penthouse?
Yeah, I got into Penthouse. Penthouse is funny because I had been doing men's magazine, and I got into We, which is an offshoot of Playboy before everything started shutting down. Yeah. And Penthouse was neat because it was up there with We and Playboy because it hadn't gotten all funky and nasty. It was just, you'd be proud of the fact you were in Penthouse. And they took a test shot of me and rejected me. And then I took another test with a boyfriend who was writing for them, and they used us as a couple in it. Mm-hmm. So they had to approve me, and because they approved me to do this couple shoot, then they wanted me on my own, and I was just like, this is amazing, First they told me to go shoot myself, and now they want me twice. It was pretty neat. I have to say a lot of things that I've accomplished, just because at that time it was a big deal. I'm really proud of the Penthouse stuff.
Oh, yeah. I interviewed someone yesterday who was in Penthouse in the late 80s. And it's funny, a year ago I interviewed this one woman who was in Penthouse, and she got famous off of one horror movie. And I brain farted during that interview and thought that I got Penthouse mixed up with Hustler, right? And I can't stand Hustler magazine. I think it's very trashy, So I told her I thought Penthouse was trashy, and she hung up on me after 3 minutes. I felt very bad later. I didn't realize that I was wrong until much, much later. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad. She blocked me on Facebook.
that's what you get.
Well, I got redemption yesterday, so I put that story out there again, yesterday. So I'm glad that I clarified things. But I remember a quote you had on IMDb that when you post for Penthouse, you had full bush, and that was before anyone was shaving.
Right, full bush doing all the men's magazines and stuff. I mean, it wasn't unique to me. It was just in the 70s and right before the start of the early 80s, everyone just was all natural. I mean, you fix the sides up so you could wear a swimsuit, for God's sake. I mean, it wasn't grotesque, but there was definitely hair down there. And I know full bush sounds like something that escaped the wild, and that's not the. It was just like you had hair down there, and then it was interesting because girls that became porn stars, we still had we had hair down there, and then there were strippers started becoming porn stars, and the strippers were waxed down to just a really fine, Hitler's mustache down the middle, and they started coming to set with the shaved pussy, and all of a sudden it just started going in this kind of less is more kind of direction to the point where then there was nothing. But I know it was a distinct reaction to the strippers that started becoming porn stars in the business, and it was just like, okay, well, I guess that's the direction we'll go.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like a pussy that's not too hairy, not too bald, and I can see everything.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's kind of where I landed on, which is just like, bald is just. I'm sorry, it's looking like a little girl, and it's just like no. But some hair, but like really trimmed, really nice. Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. So you started doing porn, 79 or 80?
Let's see, when did I do? I didn't do it when I was living in Los Angeles because porn was kind of still illegal out here. Mm-hmm. And I had friends that were doing it, and there was even a few from the agency that were doing it. I mean, the first I would do is, like I said, the men's magazines. So I was in a critical juncture where I moved to New York. It's the relationships that motivate me, which is so stupid, but there was someone that I early on had really marriage to it. I was madly in love with, and we couldn't be in the same room together without killing each other. So finally he moved to New York, I stayed in California, and then of course we remembered all the good stuff, so we have to be together. So I sold everything, moved out to New York, not realizing that a lot of stuff he was telling me was false, his job, everything else. And he owed money on an apartment, and we were real broke. I basically went there, and we were super broke, and we were trying to figure stuff out. And he came across Chuck Vincent, who was the film a pornographer, a gay pornographer, right? And he was doing straight X-rated movies. And my friend told him about me, and now I've been in Penthouse, and Chuck was looking for a new face. So he turned me on to Chuck, and I thought about it for a nanosecond, and between they were going to go all over Europe and shoot stuff, they were offering me an obscene amount of money, and they were going to hire my friend, and he seemed to have no problem with it. So it just seemed, and it wasn't really illegal. I mean, it was illegal if you get busted out in the boroughs, but people, it's like smoking a joint and having the officer standing next to you and just looking the other way. New York was its own entity. They just, they didn't care. So it was easier to overlook that and go, yeah, I could do that. Okay. Yeah. I can travel, I can get big money, and I could probably shoot this stuff. I'm used to being naked. What the heck?
Yeah. I never even realized how illegal porn was in those days until I started listening to the Rialto report. Because to me, I mean, it's on film. I mean, there shouldn't be any problem. It's not like it's
well, and
something.
the males are getting paid as well as the females. It's not like a one-sided deal where you have the John and the hooker. It's like everyone's equal pay. So it's a business.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking thing going on there, and yeah, but you had no problem.
A lot of gray boxes.
But you had no problem doing it, obviously. Were you always a sexual person from the time you went through puberty?
Oh, no. I wasn't that sexual. I mean, what happens is after 18, I realized I with makeup, I was cute. And I got a lot of attention from the opposite sex. But I was pretty shy. I mean, except when it came to nude modeling, it didn't bother me that much. It was just like another aspect of being a human being. It didn't really bother me. When it came down to the sex stuff, you got to understand, I had a mother who never ever really spilled out the birds and the bees to me, and she never ever came after me and said, sex is bad, wait till you're married.
Yeah.
She just didn't talk about it. I guess she assumed I knew it was bad. But I never had it in my head that it was bad, so it was, even though I was Catholic, it never occurred to me that it was a sin. So having gotten rid of that baggage, sex on camera, my first sex scene was with George Payne, not George Payne, who's the gay? Jack Wrangler.
Jack Wrangler,
and
yeah.
He was gay, and he was doing straight movies, Jack and Jill with Samantha Fox, and they were getting all this kind of laud and awards, and he was the first guy that I had something to do with. And all I had to do, because we shot all this stuff in Europe, just kind of setting up the scenes, and then we were going to shoot all the X-rated stuff back in America, so we wouldn't have to transfer across transcontinental waters or any of that stuff. It was all being shot in America. And the first scene I had was Jack Wrangler, and it was merely to go around to his side of the door and give him a blowjob.
Nice.
I didn't know what to do because I knew he was gay, and they told me he was gay actually right before I went to do the thing, and I'm like going, okay, he's gay, I'm giving him a blowjob. What's his motive? What's my motivation? What? Whose motivation? I didn't know what to do. And I went over and I talked to him. I said, Jack, what do you want me to do? What can I do to make this go like butter? And he was like, oh, honey, just put your head down there and I'll do the rest of the work. That was my first
Wow.
on camera. It was just like, well, that was easy.
Now that's a good friend.
It's a good friend. It's a good,
Yeah. What was your favorite stuff to do in porn?
Favorite stuff to do? Travel. If you're talking about physical stuff,
Yeah.
What people don't understand is, and I hear the girls talk about, oh, I'm really hot, and it really makes me like just all sexual and juiced up to do these scenes, and it's just like, you gotta know when you're shooting something for a camera, it's highly unnatural. You are cheating your body so they can see stuff go down.
Yeah.
And there's cuts, and then there's takes, and like especially stuff these days where they'll shoot a scene, then they go back with the girl's makeup on or the clothes on, and then they shoot it again, but for the still. I mean, how awkward is that? I mean, at least I didn't have that. I didn't have to reshoot a scene for the stills. They would take the stills as I was doing the scene. But still, by virtue of the fact you're shooting with sound men and cameramen and everything else, it's kind of a far cry from, a sexy experience. I mean, every now and then you get somebody and you're kissing or you're playing around with and kind of like be in tune with. And
Yeah.
that's so few and far. It's just, especially if you want to be good at your craft. If you're good at your craft and you're coming, I don't know about you, but I come loud and I come with an ugly face.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, it's just like, yowzer, I throw the whole room off, but I want to do a pretty come and I want to have a good face. he's the one that's having to do most of the performing. So you kind of like put yourself in a kind of a box so that you can see yourself from the outside, looking in at yourself, doing what you need to do to paint a really hot picture for whoever's watching it, at the same time taking care of the partner.
Agreed. Yeah. And as the 80s wore on, there was so much more freaky porn out there. There was double penetration, there was bukkake, there was all this stuff that happened, that's still going on today.
Oh yeah, no, I was lucky. I didn't do any of that. That was like it's purely vanilla sex.
Yeah.
That kind of came later because I became a makeup artist after that, and I had to work on so many sets because I was a makeup artist for years. And I just saw the evolution of what it turned into. The anal turned into double anal, turned into, like you said, bukkake and TMA and all that kind of stuff. And it just
S&M.
And choking and hitting and all the kind of stuff that I hate the fact that young guys watch and think that that's what normal sex is. So that was kind of sad. I kind of like the fact that 80s porn made kind of it's kind of come back again on its own because it's pretty sex. It's sex that people should, young boys, if you're going to watch sex, watch 80s sex.
Yeah. It can be real, given meeting the right people, it's happened to me, with all the freaky stuff I'm into, but yeah, absolutely. I think that, porn like that does send out a really bad message, especially if you're looking for love,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just like you said, you were raised to have a lot of respect for women. Mm-hmm. How can you have a lot of respect for women when you're expected to choke them out or spit on them or,
I don't do that stuff.
It's such a mixed bag of messages.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that at all. I couldn't even do that just to fake it. I couldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
Did you work with Harry Reems?
Oh yeah, I worked with Harry. He was a hoot. I just actually worked on him with one film, and it was probably one of the most decadent movie sets that ever. It was like this kind of rich person's paradise where all these rich people go to. It had like a 24 5-star restaurant on the resort, and it had all these different rooms and gym and a running track, and it was just really set up. And so we stayed there, and then we shot at this huge mansion that was about 10 minutes away, and it got out of hand. The director was freebasing in the bathroom.
Oh God!
Harry was close to his brain. We were all drinking and eating and throwing parties every night. I was surprised anything got done. But he was a really nice guy.
Yeah, I interviewed an actress who worked with him in a low-budget slasher movie called To All a Good Night, which is a Christmas slasher movie. And she told me on the set, that on the set she found out for the first time that he was a porn star, and she had no idea. And she was like, God, he's so talented, and he's such a gentleman. I can't believe that he's a porn star. And I said, oh, he wasn't doing a Ron Jeremy, like taking his dick out for everyone to see. And she laughed, and she's like, no, and if he did, I probably would have cried.
A lot of misconceptions, yeah.
Yeah. How about, did you ever work with Nina Hartley?
Oh, yeah. I worked with Nina on a few films. I did more work with her as a makeup artist. Worked on a lot of her films and stuff. A lot of the artists in the 90s and 2000s, I was doing makeup on them. Mm-hmm. So I come from a completely different place in terms of what I view and how I deal with them and, and becoming friends with them. Because a lot of times in the 80s so much, the later 80s I wasn't around. I kind of checked out to have a couple kids, but the first 6 years of the 80s, we were friendly. Like the New York had its gang, LA had its gang, and the San Francisco had its gang. And then every now and then we'd trade off and we'd have one of ours go be in theirs kind of stuff. But just between us kind of keeping insular with our groups, and then we would go from project to project, and we had some kind of camaraderie, but it wasn't as much as you would think. We were all doing our own thing and into our own heads, so it wasn't as much. And I had a lot more camaraderie with the porn stars, like I said, in the 90s and the 2000s, because I was the makeup artist, the bartender. It was like, shrink. I got to know them really well.
Yeah, I've tried getting Nina on the show. She's hard to get in touch with. She wouldn't remember me, though. She gave me a hand job when I was 21.
Oh, my gosh. How cool.
Yeah. She went to
What was the circumstance of that?
She was doing a meet and greet at a sex shop that we had in the Bay Area called Jaybirds, which was across the street from a Jack in the Box. And when I was like a kid, my dad and I used to be at the drive-through, and we'd see all these perverts going in there, and we'd just laugh. I didn't think I was ever going to be one of them, and so I went when I was 21 to a meet and greet. I was one of the last guys to go and talk to her, and I was the only one she said that wasn't a creep, so she decided to go reward me.
Oh my gosh, what a reward.
Yes, she was very thorough and nonchalant about it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's one of the...
I had a thing, and this is just, I guess I can spill the beans a bit on this. I always wanted to have do a thing with her because she was so assertive, and I thought, oh, it'd be fun to do a scene with her. That would be kind of cool, because most girls scenes, I had to kind of take her over because they didn't know what they were doing, so I was always the dominant. And so she joined me with a private with my boyfriend at the time, and she was so dominant it wasn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be. She came out and she brought out gloves, and I was like, bringing out gloves? She goes, oh yeah. And I was like, okay. It's like gloves? I mean, like the plastic gloves, like you don't want to touch something. And it was just like, okay, this is not my ideal dream of being with Nina Hartley. But I can say I did. Okay, good enough.
Yeah. And last year I interviewed Christy Canyon, and she's nuts.
Oh yeah, she's nuts, but she's really businesslike. I have to give her a point. She was actually married to my ex-husband.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, so we have that in common. But she has her shit together when it comes to her business, what she's doing, property. She bought a house, she adopted all these kids.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got this whole other side of her that's not nuts, really together. But you're right, there's this other side where it's just like, woohoo.
Yeah, so I struggled for a few minutes during the interview. She was accusing me of asking generic questions, but then once I started telling her dirty jokes, then she liked me, and then she relaxed a little.
No, okay.
Yeah, it was a challenge though, but she was cool. She told me she had seen my picture and she thought I was cute, so I thought that was very nice. So
Nice.
yeah, I can't complain there.
Way on the Tommy tone.
Yeah, that I do have. I don't mean to come off as arrogant, but I do have that.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. Did you have an uncredited role in Judd?
Yes, I did.
Yes, it says...
I even have the old shoes and the coat to prove it. They were shooting in New York, and I got in on the casting call. And it's just like I have an uncredited role on Night of the Living Dead, the remake.
Really?
I'm in the crowd doing that.
Really? I didn't.
know.
That's not listed. I did not know that. Oh God, I've interviewed half of the George Romero franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, I went up there with my kids and my significant other, who was a horror writer, and his partner, and they were friends with Romero, so we got up there, and they put us into full-on, the makeup they give for the people that are going to be first on scene, so their faces are all jacked out. Because if you're just an extra and you're just going to be coming the forward from the back, they kind of splash blood on you and they just kind of let you go. But if your face is going to be seen by the camera, they take time with their makeup artist and really mess you up. So that was fun.
Wow, yeah. He was married, George was married to Christine at that time still.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to her. She's a very interesting person, too. But wow, I did not know that.
Tom Savini was the one who directed that one. George kind of sat back and executive produced it.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons it didn't do as well as it should have.
I've interviewed Tom Savini's niece, who was the little girl zombie in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And Tom, he promised me a year ago that he would do my show, but he still hasn't. But
he's a fun interview. I was on a panel with him on Fangoria, and he's got a lot of interesting things to say.
Wow, you've played a bigger role in horror than I thought. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had no idea you did a low-budget action movie with Vince Edwards called Snowline.
Yep.
Yeah, what do you remember from that?
Not much. There was I did a film called Cat's Paw. I remember that.
What's it called?
Very well.
Mm-hmm.
There was another horror, Blood Beach was one I was on.
Oh, you were in Blood Beach?
Yeah, I was just one of the extras in Blood Beach.
Oh, wow. I'm supposed to interview Julie Dolan soon, who was the star of that movie. Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just down there for a couple of days. It was just, yeah. So, I mean, the horror films that I've been in, except for Toolbox Murders, I just would start little side parts and stuff in. But, it was horror, so it was fun.
Yeah. Snowline, though, yeah, I heard Vince Edwards was a prick. I've never heard any good things about him.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Phil Foster from Laverne and Shirley's in it, and Paul Smith, who played Bluto and Popeye. What a cast.
Wow, yeah, right?
Yeah. But now we get to my favorite cult film you did, Delivery Boys.
Your favorite?
You are my fourth guest from the movie, and this movie got me through a dark period when I was in my late teens, early 20s.
Oh, wow. So happy for you. That's great.
Yeah, my grandmother had died. I was very close to her, and I was watching. I rediscovered the cult movie during that time. We lived across the street from a couple video stores that I would go to all the time and rent movies, and this is how I discovered this movie, and I love it and stuff. I know that you worked with Chuck Vinson on the porn, but he executive produced this movie. Is that how you got cast?
There was a guy named Ken
Handler.
Right. And he was the original Ken doll. His sister's named Barbie. Their parents actually named Ken and Barbie, right?
Right.
And he was sort of in charge of it, and he kind of liked me. So it was his choice. I don't know, Chuck was so much a part of it because this felt kind of completely separate. And it was slow going. It didn't feel like, it felt clunky when we were doing it.
Yeah.
But it was a paycheck. I knew it was going to be more of an R-rated thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, and they introduced me to my co-star, and my heart dropped because it was just like this young kid that reminded me of my younger brother, and I was just like, I'm so sad for sex. Oh, dear Lordy.
Yes.
Ever the professional went to town on it, and his kid had a great sense of humor. He was cool. The fact that we didn't really have to have any kind of real contact other than just thrashing around was fine. It just was like, I think I got, for the first year, I got a red face every time I got brought up. Apparently, you did well. So I'm glad that got you through a rough time.
Yeah, you are such a good actress, Kelly. You can do comedy, and you're so natural on screen that if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have guessed it. You had really good chemistry with Joss, and I told him that. You two were really good together, I think.
Well, I never told him. You reminded me of my younger brother. That probably helped.
Yeah. Well, I know he's going to listen to this after I tag him in it.
No, but I remember being such a gentleman and such a sweetheart, so that was a good experience.
Yeah, and he told me how he got cast in the movie. It was a pure accident. He was actually the production assistant, and he got that job because a friend of his was in the movie. And then S.I. Morales, who later went on to do La Bamba, he got fired or he quit or something, and so Josh took over for him.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the movie should have had a much longer theatrical run than it did, but the reason why it didn't was because Josh's friend had a falling out with Ken Handler, and he had some of his boys, if you know what I mean, take care of the movie, and it didn't last long in theaters, which is quite sad. But
yeah, Ken was a weirdo.
He was?
I can understand that.
Yeah.
He was just strange. Just the whole, even when you knew the Ken and Barbie background, he just was not a movie maker. He was, if anything, he reminded me a little bit more like Mob than he did movie making.
Yeah, well, go figure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
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 Did you ever see a movie called Model Behavior?
Model Behavior? That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it was an R-rated movie I did at the same time. And I had to get my SAG card for sure to be in it, which is a funny story in and of itself. But because I was half-heartedly in because of Toolbox Murder, I didn't have a SAG card, but I needed a SAG card to be on this. So I had to go down to SAG offices and offer a name, and I said, well, Kelly Nichols. And they said, well, we already have a Kelly Nichols. And they're like, in fact, she's been upset because there's a porn star running around calling herself Kelly Nichols, and it's impinging on her work. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's me. So I talked to them, and I said, okay, can I be Kelly Ann Nichols? So they put me in for Kelly Ann Nichols, and I got my SAG card, and then I was able to do this movie, Model Behavior. And I asked if he saw it because it was done around the same time as Delivery Boys. It was fun. It was very New Yorky. I think I just didn't do much more than play with the girl in a bathtub and talk a bunch. But yeah, I wondered if you had seen it or not.
No, I'm looking at on IMDb. I see it. Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch was in it. Antonio Fargas. And
I just had a few days on it, so I might not have met the rest of the people in it.
Yeah. But, wow. Yeah, I'll check that one out. I could probably get a copy off of eBay or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I should mention that your maid in Delivery Boys is the very young Lisa Vidal.
Oh, my gosh, really?
Yes.
That's funny.
And I know Joss is in contact with her on Facebook. I asked her to be on the show, and she told me that's something my agency should get involved with. And I was like, okay, who's your agency? Never heard back from her.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
everybody's up for a podcast.
Yeah. But that glory hole scene is a fucking classic. That's like something right out of Porky's.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's wonderful. And you're so gorgeous in the movie, too.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I was having a good hair day.
Yeah. I love it when I look at you two are sitting across each other from the table and you're like feeding each other pizza, and then cut to a shot of his ass going up and down.
Oh my God. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Go right to it. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing left the imagination.
Yeah. So great. And then you did Death Mask. Do you have a story about that?
that's the one with Veronica Hart?
Yeah, Richard Friedman directed.
Right. No, I think I just died in that one.
Yeah, you're the lover nurse.
Yeah, that was really weird because they were going to use these blood things, but they were explosions that were attached to my chest, and it made me really nervous. I was really scared. I kind of wanted somebody to be on set from SAG just because to have those all lined up on my chest scared me really bad. So, I mean, that was something that wasn't the greatest experience because I was terrified.
Yeah, I talked to a couple other people from the movie. Lee Bryant, who was the U-Band coffee lady in the 70s. You remember Jim never has a second cup of coffee, you know?
Yes, yes.
And Barbara Bingham, who was in Friday the 13th, Part 8. Oh, God, she's a character. She was calling me all the way from Australia, and she was just loud the entire time. She's got personality, that lady.
Wow.
Yeah. So what made you get out of performing and getting into the makeup side of porn?
There's just a point where it was time that the stuff had gone from film to video. That was probably my biggest thing, which was before I was picked because I could do dialogue. They liked my acting, my character, my personality. And then video came along, and it was ugly lighting. It was really a lot less about you knowing lines and projecting a personality and more about just fucking on film. Yeah. And they could get the most amount of bang for their buck. You know, they didn't have to do the filming charges. And, the film charges, it was just video. So that was a real persuasive thing to make me kind of go, no. I did a few videos, and also they cut your pay in half. I mean, I was used to getting top dollar, and all of a sudden I'm doing a sex film for like this much money. It just was like, I won't say I'm classier than that, but in some ways it's not like that. It was just like, let the next, roll of kids come in and do that. I don't want to do that anymore. And I had done makeup before in the past, a lot of it. So in the meantime, I got out, had 2 kids. Then it was just I needed to go back to work, and makeup was my go-to. And I knew so many people in the industry. And the good thing about makeup for the industry is they shoot like a day or 2 days or 3 days at the most. You start doing makeup for, the industry, the Hollywood industry. They're on location, and days can go for like super long hours. And if you have kids, you can't do it. So working on adult stuff was, every now and then I'd work on a straight set, but mostly I work on adult because it was easier to get through and then come back to my family. Plus I knew them. I knew all these people. I knew them well. I knew their psychology. They're still kind of some of the most fascinating people I've ever met, for good and bad reasons. Some of them were so damaged, it was just like, wow. And then some of them had such big hearts, you just going, wow. And so, yeah, that's what I got out.
Wow. So was there a fear that you would probably be seen more and probably become more notorious that way too?
Oh, yeah, I was already being recognized. Well, you have to understand, when I was doing adult, there were just a handful of us doing it in New York, a handful of us doing it in Los Angeles, a handful of us doing it in San Francisco. Right. And we were basically setting the tone for all the pornography across the United States. That's what they saw us. So we were like superstars. We were the ones that everyone was seeing. We didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. We had no idea of the coverage that we were getting just because there weren't that many other. There were like the real low bottom ones that you put the quarter in and watch. But I'm talking in terms of recognizable. So I didn't realize that till after I got out of porn, when I was recognized an awful lot. A lot. I'd go to Las Vegas for some conventions, and whole buses of Asian people would recognize me. It took about 10 years for people to stop recognizing me, which was a little scary because I had kids and I had to be like really thoughtful
That's crazy. So what do you do when quarantine isn't happening? Are you still doing makeup, or have you retired from that?
Well, what happened was my shoulders gave out. I was a kickboxer and about 10 years ago, for about 10 years. And I jacked my shoulders bare, plus years of doing hair and makeup. I just really pounded them, so I had to have both shoulders replaced, and then replaced again. And so I've been kind of disabled, so we say, from doing makeup. Right now I am on disability. I do small little makeup jobs around when I can, to kind of subsidize myself. I also paint. Ginger Lynn got me into painting, and I paint canvases, and then I sell them on her website. So I do. That's kind of like what I do.
Yeah, my mother, she just had her second shoulder surgery. She had one last year because she took a fall at the job she was at, and now she's trying to sue them. And she just had her second shoulder surgery, and it's starting to get better, but it's not the same.
No, it's not. It's a big deal. Shoulder surgery is just like, that's 6 months out of your life.
Yeah, I fucking dislocated my shoulder while I was working a retail job 15 years ago. It's never been quite the same since. I mean, my shoulder just pretty much collapsed on me, and I had a car accident 5 years ago. It temporarily made my shoulder feel better, but now it's starting.
Oh wow!
Now it's starting in again, especially since I just turned 37 last week. So. Yeah. Wow. But you sound very positive and hopeful, about this clusterfuck coming to an end that we're all in.
Oh yeah. My mother is in New Zealand. She got kind of trapped there. She went to her son's daughter's wedding, and then the country shut down, and she's 89 years old, so it's perfect. The country has no COVID. She's safe. I'm so happy for her. I live in a big house with my brother. We've got a really good life here, I get my painting, I got workout equipment. It's a cute little town I live in. Get to walk around, go hiking, I got it really good compared to a lot of people that are, really stuck inside. So.
You wait till your brother's not home to masturbate, right?
I have a lock on my door, dear.
Oh, really? I wish I had that.
Yeah, no, I find it absolutely necessary.
That's awesome. Yeah, ever since I've been recovering, that's all I do and stuff. After quarantine's over, though, I'm going to make it a point to meet some nice girl and, have some romance and stuff. I think I'm ready for it. I just needed to...
Me too. I agree. Okay, let's make a pact. We're going to find somebody after this whole quarantine thing.
Yes. Find somebody that, we can have some romance with, and somebody we can share our lives with. I think that would be a really good pact to have.
I would. I had was 12 years in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship that ended in 2013. So I'm ready. I agree with you. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. It's time now to play my secret silly game that I engaged my guests in. This is a lot of fun. It's silly slumber party questions, and how it works is I ask you the question, you answer it, and then you ask me the exact same question, and I answer it.
Okay, sounds good.
Kelly, are you ticklish?
Yes, I'm very ticklish. Tommy, are you ticklish?
Oh, I am baby ticklish. I've been known to hit...
It makes me want to get you down on the floor and tickle the shit out of you.
Oh, and I would let you, too.
Oh, whoa. A little bit of a submission there going on. Okay, we like that.
I'm a naughty boy, I told you. A naughty Catholic boy. Yeah. But, like, you know, if I'm being tickled without warning, I've been known to hit people in the groin. So if it's out of consent, you know, it's going to be a very pleasurable experience for the both of us.
Oh, here's a cute little story for you.
Uh-huh.
Because some of the things that I would do, like send me out on different jobs.
Yeah.
One job they sent me out on was a S&M job.
Mm-hmm.
The S&M was to be tickled.
Yeah.
And they tried me down and tickled me, except they were really bad at it. So I had to call up inside myself all this fake laughter for about half an hour. Half an hour of fake laughing because they weren't tickling me right.
Oh, that's no good. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
It's an innie with a piercing.
Ooh, that's sexy.
And are you an innie or an outie?
I'm a very deep innie.
Very deep innie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because you're all cut up or because you're like a little bit of a round boy?
I'm a little bit of a round boy, yeah. I can fit my finger all the way to the back of it. I could probably fit some crystal meth in there.
Oh my God.
But it's really
I think
cute.
what you need is a belly button ring because it takes the tension off of it.
No, if I didn't have scars from my accident there, I probably would do that, you know. But no, it's cute without it. It used to be a lot cuter though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we all used to be a lot cuter. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. What color are your toenails painted?
Oh, they're painted turquoise right now. What color is your What color is your toenails painted?
They are au naturel.
Okay. I would not have been offended if they were been painted.
Last time they were painted, though, they were purple with sparkles.
Ah, okay. You're a unicorn guy. I love it.
Yes. What would you say is your best personality trait?
My sense of humor.
Yes, I agree.
How about you?
My sense of empathy and the fact that I have no filter.
Oh, okay. I like both those qualities. You told me last night you had no filter, and I was like rubbing my hands together going, yes.
Yes.
And empathy is a wonderful thing to have, something that our president does not have, but yeah.
Yes. Oh, don't get me started there.
I know. I didn't mean to bring that up.
That's okay. Here's a question I ask with no filter for my very special guests who have no filter as well. How old were you the first time you got finger banged?
Oh, wow. That's before I actually got fucked. The theater that I mentioned that I worked at, I was 16, and there was a guy who worked there with long hair. I'm always a sucker for long hair. And after work, we would go down to there was a morgue, and we would go look at the dead bodies, and then next to it was this house, it was like a party house.
Mm-hmm.
And we would, and again, I wasn't used to kissing deep throat or anything, but for some reason we'd drink beers and sit on the dark stairs, and he would finger bang me. It was just his thing, and it was something that I let him do, and I found it pleasurable. And I guess because I was disconnected because of the beer, it didn't seem like it was all that odd. So at 16.
Wow. Was it painful at all?
No, not at all. It's small fingers.
Yeah. I know I'm a guy who likes to put 2 fingers on the G-spot and the thumb on the clitoris. That's my thing.
Oh, two fingers on the G-spot and a thumb on the clitoris. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or sometimes,
Sure.
yeah, or sometimes use my free hand for the clitoris, you know. I was 12 the first time I fingered a girl.
Okay, what was it like?
It was, okay, it was very, what's that word I'm looking for? Well, the word is ecstasy. It gave me a lot of ecstasy. It was just a very thrill-seeking event for me because it was a daughter of a friend of my dad's, and we were at the arcade on a Sunday, and there was nobody there, and we were on one of those sit-down games, you know, the race car games, and she told me she had no panties on, so she showed me, and she let me go to work there, and I I'm just I can still remember it vividly. It was wonderful, a wonderful experience.
Did she enjoy it?
Oh yeah. And about 14 years later, I actually got to fuck her. We reunited after many years, and I got to fuck her, and it was so good. And then she
wow.
And little did
that's great.
And little did I know she was engaged at the time, so she never talked to me again after that.
Okay, well, it was probably meant to be just that one-time expression.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then my favorite question: is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag? Fish. That's.
I only say that because I eat a lot of fish, and then sometimes you throw it in the trash. And I don't necessarily think that women smell like fish, so it's just like it truly is fish wrappers. So that would be that and Limburger cheese.
Ugh. Oh, that's bad.
Okay, so are those two good smells to gag on?
Pretty much.
I don't even know why you asked that question.
I'm just curious. That's why I love asking that. For me, and every time I tell someone this with kids, it doesn't affect them. It's either farts or feet.
Oh, okay. I like smelling my own farts, and feet don't never smell that bad.
You're the second guest.
Smelling your own farts comes from having 5 brothers, by the way. So let's just put that in.
You're the second guest who's told me she loves the smell of her own farts.
Well, you had to, because your brothers will hold you under the blanket covers, like Dutch oven style. You know,
yeah.
You smell their farts, so.
Oh, yeah, I've given plenty girls Dutch ovens.
Oh, my God.
Those are fun. Those are fun. I don't mind doing those, you know. I have a couple jokes for you.
Okay.
You know the difference between a golf ball and a G-spot?
No.
It takes a man 20 minutes to find the golf ball.
Nice.
Yes. How do you make your wife scream twice?
Jeez. Has to be doing something, taking out the trash. No, I have no idea.
First you fuck her up the ass, and then you wipe your dick on the curtain.
Okay, I've heard that one before.
Once you heard the punchline, you've heard it.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I love telling jokes. You know, I've been a comedian 14 years now. And I've ever since I moved up to Reading, I've taken a break from doing stand-up. There's no comedy up here, and it's a very conservative area. I'm trying to get the hell out of here and get to LA.
Oh yeah, you should. Stand-up comedy is like it's got a whole resurgence right now.
Yeah,
I love stand-up comedy.
It's more popular than it's ever been. Yeah.
Do you ever listen to Dry Bar?
Dry Bar, no.
Okay, go to your apps on your phone and download Dry Bar.
Okay.
All these comedians from all over. It's free stand-up comedy, and you can rate them, and it's just stuff it's just up-and-coming comics. And it's like I said, the app is free, and it's just really interesting. It's just, want to listen to some comedy? Turn on Dry Bar.
Okay. I'll check it out, definitely.
Yeah, please do.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, last summer, I was playing that game with a guest of mine, and I asked her one of the questions, and I shit you not, she had an orgasm on the air.
What?
Yeah, and it was real.
Or was it?
No, she told me. Afterwards, she told me.
Or was it? Women lie.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought that I could give a woman an orgasm just by asking her a sexy question like that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh boy. But Kelly, I thank you so much for coming on today. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, I had a blast.
And I hope your disability retirement thing is great. You know, I hope after
Oh
quarantine.
yeah, I'm gonna turn it into a whole thing. The fact that I get to paint for a living has just been really cool. I still do the makeup. Yeah, don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm still in the game.
Yeah. Do you paint any nude pictures?
I do paint nudes.
Uh huh. Do you have any models?
No, actually, it's pretty much from my head. Most of the stuff I paint is pretty much from my head. So
Wow.
I have a nice little studio, and yeah, it's all good.
That's
Gives me something to do during this stupid time right now.
yeah, that's quite a gift to have. And so
I know.
yeah, so that's good that you have that. And after this is all over, you know, you can be active again. I hope the horror cons start up again soon. I miss those.
Yeah, no, I miss the gatherings of the freaks.
Yeah. Hopefully someday I'll get to meet you at one.
I would love that, Tommy.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you have yourself a great day and stay safe.
Okay, you stay safe too. Bye, sweetie.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Kelly Nichols, a.k.a. Marianne Walter. Ain't she a sweetheart? A lot of fun. True tomboy if ever there was one. I'm lucky. I love my tomboys. I really, really do. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes!